Andre Wade was just released. Once again, just come to reminisce about some things and just pray that peace upon y'all families today as well as yesterday. And those who are incarcerated, things are going good with them and peace upon them. I was thinking about the story I was telling the other day. Yesterday I rested because I got drunk. I got drunk on New Year. And I'm not a drinking man, so it don't even take much. So I just rested yesterday and thankful for today. Was thinking about the story I was telling you about the escape that took on Eastham. Well, I was on Styles unit and two escapes took place on that facility because I told you living on Styles, it was like living in some ghetto apartments, with the COs and the inmate relationships that took place. Many relationships went on over there on Styles. I'm talking about outstanding. That was at that time when I was on Styles, that was the most country band unit in the state of Texas. And I'm talking about major country band. I'm talking about man, Styles ooh man, it was out of control with country band. And then it took years to try to get control of that unit, because the inmates, they ran that unit with them officers, because them officers, man, they was about that bread, they was about that money over there on Style, them CEOs over there. But I remember the time when an inmate escaped from SEG. I'm talking about he escaped from SEG. And they had him like when they go to Rick, they put him in these cages, right? And we talking about SEG, a segregation place. Well, ain't no way an inmate supposed to escape from there. But this inmate, he escaped it from SEG. I mean, I'm talking about when they changed shifts, they left him on the rec yard. Now, there's a lot of investigation went on behind this escape because before the shift change, all inmates supposed to be taken off the rec yard before they changed shifts and said. But this inmate, he was left on the rec yard, and somehow he escaped it out of this locked up cage. And see, and this is what's so strange about that escape is that they trying to figure out how in the world this man here got out. And it's still, I think they still investigating that unless, because I got out and I left Styles, and they trying to figure out how was this man left on the rec yard and escaped. Now that was something else, being in SEG, And then they had one guy, he was I think he was on death row or something. I don't know what it was, but they transferred this guy over to come visit his brother. And he escaped it out the van. He escaped it from the van. Somehow he took the pistol from the officer, one of the officers that was part of the chain van. And he got the pistol from the man and escaped somehow. I don't know. And he's supposed to have been shackled up. And that's just some of the things that go on in these Texas prisons and these relationships they have, with these officers. Because, I was looking at one of the comments and they was talking about the fights that took place on Eastham, with the COs. I'll never forget, they had this female officer and she was really like a law, she tried to bust, her own kind. And she had busted one of the females that was bringing in work, bringing in weed and stuff. So they bust a woman. And come to find out, this female officer was the one that set her up, and say, when I tell you, I think the lady's name was, that got busted name was Miss Lewis. And Miss Lewis, she was straight up natural. no weave in the head or nothing. She was straight up natural woman, straight up ghetto type, man. When she found out that this officer was the one that told her on it, and Miss Lewis was like working in the picket at the time. Man, they had to leave. They had to really shackle this woman inside of the picket and not let her out because she was trying to get out to go beat up the other officers that told on her. Man, they had to secure that woman because, man, Miss Lewis was ready to beat that woman to death. That looked like one of them life flight helicopters there. That what you've seen in the Texas prison, a lot, life flights. Life flights used to come a lot at them on East Ham and on Styles. Them talking about them life flights used to pull up on a regular on East Ham because somebody was getting stabbed or something, and they had the life flight them boys up out of there. I'm talking about something serious. I'm talking about life flighting away from the unit. I'm talking about because, like I say, East Ham was a dangerous unit, and a lot of things took place on East Ham towards as men, you know, uh, getting hurt or losing their life. And life flights, they just did so much as came because of somebody getting hurt. Also, they came, for somebody, having a heart attack or something, because many men then died and had heart attacks in these Texas prisons. And this is rocketed. These things are rocketed, I'm telling you about, and things that took place while I was there. It ain't something that I read in the newspaper or seen on the news. When I'm talking about something that took place, I'm talking about it took place while I was there, because these are the stories that I had to tell when it come, to relationships with inmate and an officer or an inmate dying or something in that nature. It was because it took place and I was there, because I don't want to talk about nothing that I heard of. You know what I'm saying? When I talk about something, I'm telling you something that you can probably go and search and find out. Because if there's anybody that's watching my show that had a loved one there, because I done seen some comments where some people was talking about where they had loved ones at that unit and have loved ones at that unit right now. And a lot of people know that East Ham right now, even though it's full of a lot of younger guys than it used to be, and that's probably a good thing because I was telling you about inmates getting raped and everything. That concept of having trying to turn men out in prison, that was a sickness that was inside the institutions in the state of Texas. Men, uh, turning men out. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? That was a crazy time when I was there. And they was doing this here, and it took years to try to control that because they didn't have PREA in the prisons in the state of Texas. So it was a lot going on like that. In the state of Texas. And which like I say was a sickness. Because I ain't never had no desire, to have no relationship with no man like that. And there was a lot of guys in that same mindset that I had because, like I say, I'm from Houston. And my concept, my Houston concept, you know, uh, didn't coincide with that kind of stuff, and being out of Houston, we're travelers, and I didn't need my family to think that I was doing that, you know what I'm saying, and I wasn't gonna do that, I ain't gonna have no another man talking about that's my wife. Yeah, you had men in the relationships, and I'm talking about like they really was, married and stuff, talking about that's my wife. I said, what you mean that's your wife? And I remember one day I was sitting at the table with these guys that I knew, and I knew what kind of, stuff that they did, and we was at chow, and it was like when you in chow, it's four seated at a table, So I'm sitting there, I'm two of my partners, so-called partners, and they sitting there talking about, uh, how fine this is and how fine. So I'm thinking they talking about women, right? They talking about some damn men, man. I say, man, y'all tripping, man. I moved from their table. From their table. I almost got a case from getting up to go to another table. And I was telling the law, the officer, or the kind of conversation they was having. I had to move, so the law let me move. You know what I'm saying? He just shook his head, because them officers, man. You had officers, man, that allow these kind of relationships to go on with these men. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no understanding about it. It was a time they didn't have females working in prison, so that kind of stuff took on because you had all male officers, and that's what went on. But times had changed where they was having like 50% of women working in them prisons. And so, and these women, they had desires, good looking men working that they dealing with. I remember that one of the first times, I had an opportunity, saying to get with a woman, and that was, that was something good, to me, that was something good. I had 45 years, and here it is, I'm communicating with this woman, but she had a relationship going on with an officer, man. Her and his officer was going together. Man, this man was jealous of me, of this woman, because this woman, she really cut it for me, and we got to that point, man, where we were kissing and all that old kind of stuff. And so he was really, highly jealous of me and this woman relationship. And I didn't even know it at the time, and she told me, that he was jealous of me. She didn't want her, talking to me, but he had never confronted me about it. He never came to me saying nothing about it. She had told me, and I used to notice sometime how she used to do certain stuff. Like he might be working on a tank that was across from her, she might be in a picket. And she gave me more attention than she did him, man. That man was mad, but he was young. He was younger than me, and like I say, I had a reputation, and I had that reputation where I had to uphold, when it came, to anything, to entertain anything. I remember I had a fight. I whooped the officer behind a woman, and he was a new guy. He was a youngster, a little white dude, and he come over there bumping and everything. So I tell him, I say, hey man. I say, man, you need to go and get up out my face with all that bumping, man. You don't know who you bumping to. I mean, he was out here, got literally in my face. I'm talking about, man, I spurred, bam, bam, I bust his ass, bam, bam, up to the ground. You know what I'm saying? I got right immediately on his ass. So they apprehended me and everything, shocking me down, and took me down there to see the lockup. So the lieutenant, I told you I had a lieutenant that used to be in Macomb, he was a real cool white boy. They cut it for me, and they already knew, man. In order for me to had to put my hands on the guy, something took place. So what took place was what kept me from really getting a case and everything is that the law, he told him what happened. And he told him how it was his fault, and he initiated that. So what went on was the highest rank was that day was a captain. So the lieutenant went to the captain, explained it to the captain, and had the officer come in there, and the officer told him all what took place. And this the mentality of the system at this time, because a lot of fights went on with inmates and officers. So they didn't write me up. They didn't write me up. They let me out. They let me out and everything. They didn't even write the officer up, because officers get wrote up too after that. All that went on, and it was behind a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because this female, you know what I'm saying, and she told him everything that she was playing with me. And she was playing, but the officer, by him being new, he didn't know, he just acted, you know what I'm saying? And cause some of them officers, you know what I'm saying, they be liking them old girls and shit. And then when them inmates, giving them more attention than they giving them, and they feel that don't even supposed to be right. But me and that white officer ended up being pretty cool, you know what I'm saying, after times of him working there. Me and him became all right. And but he remember he said, boy, he told me, he said, man, if I was in that world, I would have this and I would have that. I said, yeah, but ain't no telling what I would have done to you, you know what I'm saying? But me and that officer became all right, and that's the kind of stuff went on, between officer and inmates. It could have been worse. I could have got, free world time behind that. But being he was straight up, cause some officers won't tell the truth. They won't tell the truth. But this little old youngster told him everything that went on. So I was freed. I was freed from that incident. But that was one of the times, me having a fight with the officer. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't no fight because I got immediately on his ass because a lot of stuff, they don't see coming. They don't see coming. No foot show bother me. But this kind of stuff went on in prison, and things that you seen, things that you heard. But you know, this is one of them stories that just release had to say. Andre Wade. And I'm gonna get back with y'all later today.